This is Tyler Reiser, author of The Veteran Advantage. Catch me on this week's episode of The Jesse T Show. And we did this thing it's called Another Thing for Charity. We did it for the EOD Warrior Foundation, raised $15,000 for them. And we bought this really crappy car, did this trip called the Mongol Rally. You buy a car, you drive it from England to Mongolia, and if you make it to Mongolia, then you win.
Wow. Okay, so talk about that a little bit. What was the commitment to that, the process in terms? Because for people that don't know, whenever you're doing a long trek like that, like logistics become a huge factor.
Yeah.
Eating, sleeping. If you just bought some random car for some cheap money, like you have to have people that can actually fix that thing.
$600.
Right? So you know that there's probably some issues, and maybe you got lucky. Maybe it made it the whole way. But talk a little bit about that journey, because it's incredible the ingenuity that has to happen on that trip.
Yeah, we're super lucky that we had 3 former bomb techs. I mean, when it comes to people that have the ability to figure out a way to rig things together to make it work, that's what bomb techs are made for. I mean, the whole thing is just, as you're constantly resupplying, you're constantly thinking about. Half the time we slept outside, we build makeshift, like they changed over time. Our lean-to that came off the side of our car looked one way when, we're only a week into the trip, but it looked much different, 3 weeks in. How annoyed we were with each other. That changed
dynamics,
a lot.
Social dynamics of being so close together. Yeah.
And then you get to Mongolia and there's just like no road for a week and a half.
Life is so different out there.
It's so cool though, like to be like, we need to go between those 2 mountains, and then you just go. So it's just like freedom.
Was there a time limit on how long this trip could take?
No.
Okay. So you went out there and it took you about.
And everybody there's like 200-300 teams. Everybody takes a different route. You see people randomly along the way. It's really cool.
That's super cool. Anything interesting, scary, or crazy happened along the trip?
Well, I know one team, they hit a camel. They're driving at night. Broke the number 1 rule. You don't drive at night. And they hit a camel. Really? And since the camel's so tall, they like took out its legs and it like fell onto the car. And like the one guy like broke his neck.
Well,
so
here in
like
Georgia,
people get
people run into deers all the time. And the deer pops up and hits the winch. It can cause death.
Same in Minnesota, constantly.
Yeah, it's incredible. So never mind a camel that's bigger, heavier, and taller.
Oh man,
it'll just fold over and like squish the top.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's the world's pretty safe unless you go looking for trouble. Yeah. I find in 3.5 years, I found a couple bits of trouble in my time, but it's always 3 a.m.
Right, witching hour.
I'm alone for some. Yeah, right. Exactly. Get back in the house where you're supposed to be.
Right. So you did the what is that? It was called the where they used to do the cross country car ride. It's and like Steve McQueen used to do it, and it was like it's similar to that relay, whatever. I'll think of it, but it's you did this like huge trek. How many miles in total?
Yeah, it's like 10,000 miles. I think like 6 weeks just driving constantly.
Any issues finding gas or supplies, water,
no,
food?
That seemed like, strangely, it was quite easy. We thought it was going to be harder, especially like once we got to Kazakhstan, it got a little bit harder. But I mean, all the way from England to Georgia, I mean, it's it's like driving in America.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You probably saw some amazing things too. How about people? Any interesting people that helped you along the way?
I was really surprised by the Mongolians. I really want to go back. I've got a trip that I'm planning now. It's kind of my long-term planned trip. I want to go back to Mongolia because the people there are just so friendly, and like they live in these things called yurts. I don't know if you've ever seen those.
What is that?
It's like this. It looks like a silo almost, like a round. It's like round, and then it's got just a kind of rounded off top, but they're big. They're like 20 feet wide.
Okay.
And so you can sleep like 10 people in one probably. And you can just walk into these are like these people's homes. and you can just walk in and go sleep on their floor, and they're cool with it. They'll give you food. They're just like trade things.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing.
The guy, I'll send you the guy's name after we're done. But he did an amazing trek as well. Like, and he set a world record for this. I forget where it was from too, but he was on Joe Rogan, and he was talking about how a lot of these they're almost like indigenous kind of places. Like, it's very rural, very, very salt of the earth. He was like, he went into one of these places on this voyage that he did, and one of the people was like almost trying to give him their wife. Like they're so
so nice.
Yeah, they're so nice. You're like, you want her?
Right. Totally different culture too, and they have.
And they're cool with it.